Me, India is the best place to collect Suiseki. It's a very satisfying art in today's time where we have so much of stress. In this particular art form, if you find a stone, you bring it home, clean it, and you display it, it remains with you forever. You don't have to do anything. I mean, there is no maintenance. It's a zero maintenance kind of an art form. You can go to the Himalayas, you can go to the mountains, the entire Sahyadri range and the Vindhya range. There are so many rivers in our country, like the Ganges, the Yamuna, Godavari, Krishna. So Narmada especially has beautiful stones on its bank.
Hi, a warm welcome to Bifocal Naturalist. Our topic today is very unique. It is called Suiseki, or the art of viewing stones and appreciating them. Artists have across the world have been inspired by rocks. Artists, sculptors, painters have been inspired by rocks and rock formations. And people have been in awe and wonder just looking at them. And this sense of wonder is absolutely necessary for curiosity and creativity. And today, in contemporary society, the sense of wonder is slowly getting lost. Rocks are also great sources of mindfulness and meditation. In India and across the globe, we have several rocks, and people travel long distances just to view them. Who has not heard of the Duke's nose in Kandala? I mean, no one comes out of Kandala without looking at the Duke's nose. Or Krishna's butterball in Mahabalipuram, and the famous Gilbert Hill in Mumbai, the famous Jabalpur marble rocks, and many, many more. Also, those created by human hand, like the famous Ryoanji temple in Kyoto, where the monks have aesthetically arranged 15 stones. Millions from across the world travel to Kyoto just to watch these stones, and many stay back to meditate and contemplate. And appreciating stones inculcates a love for nature and the feeling of preservation of the environment and the natural objects in the environment. So today, it is very, very important to also appreciate and love inanimate objects just like we love the flora and the fauna. About 2000 years ago in China, people came across an idea. They said, why travel long distances to view objects, rocks and mountains, just for a few minutes? Why not bring them indoors? So they started collecting small stones, manageable ones. They brought them to their homes, put them on little stands, and started viewing and appreciating them and meditating upon them and becoming aware and mindful. Our guest today is Sudhir Jadhav. Sudhir has a master's in psychology and an MBA degree. He's the global head of human resources in a multinational company and takes care of 15 offices across India and several in Asia and Northern America. Hi, Sudhir. A warm welcome to you. How are you?
Fine, ma'am. Thank you. And a very good afternoon to you. Thank you for making me part of this journey of bifocal naturalist. I'm immensely happy to be here in this forum today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sudhir. They're all very excited because Suiseki is something completely new to us. I first came to know about Suiseki when I went to Japan, and they presented me with a huge, bulky book And when the book came to my hand, it was nicely wrapped up. I said, "Oh God, now what is this?" But when I opened, it had such beautiful illustrations that I fell in love with Suiseki. Thank you. I would like to know what inspired you to start Suiseki, and how did you go about it, and what exactly is Suiseki?
So I'm also a nature lover, just like you. I learned making bonsai very early when I was out of school. And the art of Suiseki basically works like a complementary art to bonsai. Okay. Traditionally, the Suiseki stones were displayed along with bonsai in the exhibition. So I came across this beautiful art of viewing stone appreciation in exhibitions where the Suiseki stones or the viewing stones were displayed in an exhibition. For many years, the stones were displayed together with bonsai only. But today, the scenario has changed. Suiseki has got its prominence. There are people who have left the art of bonsai and got full time into Suiseki because it's such a passionate and such a easy to adopt kind of an art. And there are exhibitions which take place now across the globe where only Suiseki is exhibited. So, Suiseki art has got a lot of prominence nowadays, and there are a lot of youngsters, a lot of people who are getting into it. I'm one of them. See, around 10 years back, when I saw these stones, when I traveled abroad for the bonsai demonstrations and exhibitions, I fell in love. My teacher and my mentor, Mrs. Sneha Parashar, she told me, Sudhir, if you want to get into this art, this is the best space for you. Because there are so many bonsai artists in India, but there is nobody who, nobody who has pursued this art greatly. There were several artists in India who were, making their footfall and trying to make this art form very popular. So she said, like, if you get into it, you have a lot of scope, and you can do wonders. And that's how I got into it. And my journey started, and then I got into collecting stones, buying stones, going on trails, and then I got invitations from many countries to come and speak about the stones in India. Also, I have been traveling cross for giving lectures on the Suiseki. So that's about my journey of Suiseki stones.
What a coincidence, because Mrs. Sneha Parashar is also my mentor. And what I am today, a large part of me is because of her guidance during my young age. I owe a lot to Mrs. Sneha Parashar. I'm so happy. She's our mentor. We have a common mentor. That's a lovely
She's
connection.
mentored to, yeah, she's mentored to so many people in
Yes.
the country and
Yes, she was one
globally.
of many, yes. And I was one of the first, let me tell you that. So, I want to know, about, see, I've also been collecting right from my childhood. I have been collecting stones, either when I go to the rock mountains or the lakesides and admiring them. But then I never knew that we had to put it in a pedestal, keep it for viewing. I just had a collection and I would, randomly go through it. But what is the main characteristics of Suiseki, and how do you distinguish Suiseki from other normal rocks?
So Suiseki are natural stones. I mean, just to define, they are stone which you can pick from the nature. They should not be altered, or they should not be touched in any manner to modify them. Okay, so you cannot carve, or you cannot uh, polish it, or you cannot sculpt it. So a stone which you find in maybe on the seashore, on the bank of the river, or in mountains, or any uh, like any place, where usually the stones are found, you have to just pick it up. So when you pick the stone, you have to look for a shape. So that's about Suiseki. Okay. So the characteristics, there are three characteristics of any stone that you have to look into, like in a Suiseki. It should be suggestive. I mean, this stone must speak. It must tell you some story. Okay. It must look like maybe a mountain, maybe a human being, maybe an animal, or any object, which is around us. So, viewing stones basically suggests a story. They narrate a story to us. They they tell you that I'm a mountain, I'm a waterfall mountain, I'm a pool mountain, I'm a lake, I'm an animal, I'm a human being, I'm a god. So they have to tell us the story. So when we go out and when we collect stones, we have to see that the stone has a unique shape. Okay, there are three elements which are very, very important in a Suiseki stone. Suggestiveness, it must suggest, it must tell us a story. Second aspect is the subdued color. Okay, usually in this particular art form, we prefer the color of the stone to be little deep. Okay, like black, gray, brown, rather than being white. Okay. And the third aspect is the balance. The stone should have a proper balance, aesthetic value. Okay. And I mean, together it must tell you a story. So these three aspects in the stone are very, very important. So when we go out, we, pick up round stones, oval stones, and all that. They always may not be, a good collection for a suiseki. Okay. They can be, kept in your garden or something, but a suiseki must, have some shape. So for example, a stone can look like a mountain. So I have some stone in my collection. So this is a stone which basically looks like a mountain. And it has more characteristics, more values into it. So if you can see, there are several crevices in the
Mhm.
particular stone. So these are like water bodies in a mountain.
Mhm.
Okay. So it adds value to this stone. So there are different types of stones which are categorized. Like you have nature stones. In nature stones, we have all the elements which you see in the nature. Like for example, a stone can look like a mountain. It can look like a water body. It can look like a waterfall. It can look like a water pool. Stone with a water pool. It can look like uh, a shelter stone. Okay, it can look like a far viewing mountain or a close viewing mountain. And then we have the other type of stones, which are like your object stones. In object stones, we have like stones in the shape of a human being, or maybe a god, an animal, or anything which is, found around us. So those are all object stones. And then we have celestial stones where we see certain celestial elements like sun, moon, stars, planets. Okay. So, that's basically all the elements from the galaxy, if you can see in a stone. And the fourth type is the abstract stone, where, and I mean, you can see anything that, you feel the stone tells you. Okay, there is no definite shape or a story in that stone, like a abstract painting. I mean, each one has his or her own story when they see that particular, painting. So similarly, there are abstract stones where you can define, you can give meaning to that stone the way you view it. So the imagination, and when you view the stone is comes into the picture, and we carry our own experiences, we carry our own cultural background when we look at the stones. I may see a Ganesha in a stone, but
Yes.
somebody elsewhere might see an elephant into a stone. So it's all about how we have been brought up, where we studied, how we studied, what we studied,
Yes.
our past experiences, our upbringing, our culture, and things around us.
No, it happened to me. I was at the Chelsea Flower Show in London, and there was, I think, Peter Chan's exhibits were there, and I saw a stone somewhere close, and it looked like Ganesha to me. I said, "What is Ganesha doing here?" I was quite surprised. But as you said, that was my culture, my experience, which made me think like that. Yeah, very true. When you say elephant and Ganesha, to me, it looked like completely Ganesha. Of course, an abstract Ganesha, but Ganesha nevertheless.
What you see, I may not see in a stone.
Correct.
Um, but the strength of a Suiseki lies in, like, if both of us see the same thing in a stone,
Hmm.
then a stone is more suggestive. Okay. Rather than, being abstract.
What do you mean by sheltered stone? You said shelter stone.
Okay. Like usually in mountains, you find cave-like things
Oh,
where, certain portion of a mount can be coming forward, creating a shelter for where
okay.
people take, shelter underneath.
Okay.
Okay. Or animals take shelter underneath. So
I
if you have any stone which has got certain elements where a shelter is created with it, that is the shelter stone.
Okay, that's wonderful thing. And I want to know, are there any places where you can see Suiseki? Are there any exhibits? Is there a museum or something coming up soon? Anything like that in India?
Yes. There's a beautiful museum in the Avadhuta Dattapitam in the Mysore Ashram, where Shri Puja Swamiji, Shri Ganpati Sachidananda Swamiji, has got a beautiful collection of stones kept in the museum, Suiseki Museum. This is the WBFF World Cooperation
Yes.
Center, WBC as we call it. And it consists of a very large number of stones in different size, different colors, different shapes. And it's a beautiful place to visit. Apart from that, there are a lot of artists like me who have been collecting stones for years together. So they have their own stones. Whenever there are bonsai exhibitions held in India, the stone exhibitions are also held, but not in that great scale. But yes, very soon in the month of March, the South Asia Bonsai Federation, SABF, this is the uh, South Asia Regional Organization of the World Bonsai Friendship Federation, WBFF. We are holding a International Bonsai and Suiseki Conference called Bliss 2025 from March 21st to March 23, 2025 in Mumbai, near Mumbai in Karjat in Radisson Blue. So there we are going to have a huge exhibition for the first time in the country where all the artists will come together and display their Suiseki stones. So I would urge everybody, who's looking at this blog to come and see our exhibition in the month of
Yes.
March from March 21st to 23,
Yes.
2025.
Please join. It'll be an incredible experience. Believe me, it'll be totally incredible and something, you've never ever seen before. Yes. And you're the secretary of SABF.
Yes, I am the current secretary of South Asia Bonsai Federation, and I'm also the president of the Indian Bonsai Society, a 52-year-old organization which basically promotes bonsai and Suiseki. And the South Asia Bonsai Federation basically promotes the art form of bonsai and Suiseki in the region. It comprises of 5 countries like India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. And we promote the art form by educating people and creating awareness among the people. The South Asia Bonsai Federation also runs a digital bonsai and Suiseki school. So we have 3 schools running at the moment. One for the bonsai art form in English language. The second school is for the bonsai art form in Hindi language. And the third one is for the art of Suiseki, which is currently run in English language. We have had close to 9 batches, and we have trained more than 600 people into this art form. And this is like a certificate course. People, come together online from all over the world, all over the country, and we have our own digital bonsai school teachers, very talented teachers who are part of this forum, and they teach several topics, usually the very advanced topics about bonsai and Suiseki.
Thank you. That's really wonderful because, many people would want to know, I mean, where to learn and how to learn, appreciate rocks better. I would love to know what kind of stones you have, in your collection and where have you collected them from?
Okay. So I have different types of stones in my collection. I personally like the nature stones. I like mountains basically. Whenever I look at the mountain, get very inspired by looking at them.
Uh-huh.
And the way they appear to us, I just fall for them. So I personally prefer, I mean, the mountain stones or the nature stones. I have a huge collection of mountain stones. I showed you one.
Yes.
There is a small one over here.
Uh-huh.
This is a green in color, a little grayish green in color
Uh-huh.
with multiple peaks you can see.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the nature stone or the mountain stones. I already showed you one stone. Uh, Then, I have also a lot of object stones where, you can see human figures, or you can see an animal, or you can see, different aspects. So I have this beautiful stone which I recently collected.
Uh-huh. Oh.
So tell me, what can you see in this?
There are three things I can see. One is I can see a mother with a child. The other I can see, the famous three monkeys. Speak no evil,
Okay.
say no evil, do no evil. Yeah, and I can also see Mother Mary here. Yes.
Yes. Yes. So I also appreciated the same thing what you told me, like the mother feeding the child.
Yes.
Okay, I could see that. I mean, if I may explain, this is the head of the mother, this is the body of the mother, and you can see the head of the child. And you can also see a hand like,
Yes.
figure over here where, she's holding the child and trying to, do breastfeeding. So it's a very beautiful stone.
Sudhi, tell me, is this completely nature or is it a little bit of human
Yeah,
hand
it's
involved?
completely, it is completely natural. I mean,
Okay.
this is kept in a dicer.
Uh-huh.
The idea behind, as I told you, like the stones should not be crafted or they should not be touched. Okay. And when we collect a stone, the first thing we do is we wash it with a normal water. If
Mm.
required, we use some very mild detergent to clean the stone. And many a times, what happens is when we collect the stones from the nature, they're little, coarse on the surface or they're very pointed on the surface. So at times, we prefer a smooth kind of a patina or a sheen on the stone.
Mm.
Okay. So we keep it out in the nature. In my garden, you'll find some stones are kept. So
Mm.
when my Mali waters the plant, he also waters the stones. So over the period, the pointedness of the stone comes down, it becomes smoother, and it develops a patina. It develops a very beautiful sheen on the stone itself. And, that gives a very, visually creates a very good, picture or it's very pleasing to the eyes to see a stone with beautiful surface as such. At the most, what we can do is we can also apply, a bit of a oil, okay, just to give it a little bit of shine when we have a show or something, when we want to
Mm.
exhibit it. Apply a little bit of oil. And traditionally, I'll tell you how people have been giving it a sheen is like, they would just sit every
Uh-huh.
time when they, see the stone, just pick the stone and just touch it. So we have a lot of oil on our body, natural oil on our body.
Uh,
So it creates a shine or a sheen. Okay,
Right, right.
so that's the best method to do it. But you can also apply some very mild oil, or or even Vaseline, or a bit of a. I mean, that can also help you, giving it some shine. So the stones are not cut, or they're not modified. That's the idea of Suiseki. Otherwise, it becomes a sculpture. I mean, it becomes a sculpted art.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
So this particular stone, it's not cut. It's not. It's
It's natural.
natural.
What is this Daizan? You were referring to something called Daizan.
Yeah. So usually the stones, they are displayed in a diagram. Okay. So like this.
So that's the base.
Typically, the object stones, yeah, it's a wooden base.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you can see it
Yes.
is crafted
Oh,
to,
water.
make this stone stand.
Okay. So each stone has to have its own design, right? It has to be
Yes,
specifically
it's
designed.
yeah. Each stone has its own diza, so that it can be displayed properly. So this is created with the help of a carpenter or a artisan.
Okay. You told me
So
wooden
usually the
steel.
object stones, they are displayed in a diza. The natural stones, the nature stones, they are displayed in a suiban. Suiban is a
Yes.
tray of made up of ceramic, or even you can have a metal or a wooden tray with sand into it. So there are these two methods: suiban, where you can put up the nature stones or the mountain stones, or stones depicting anything from the nature. And you can also have a diza for a mountain stone, where you feel it is important, and it accentuates the value of this stone. So for this particular stone, there's a diza
Hmm.
which very well complements. The diagram should be also subtle. It should not overpower the beauty or the values of the stone.
Hmm.
So when we create the stone, create the diagrams, they are very subtle in the way they appear. Now, for example, this particular diagram is very thin,
Hmm.
because the stone also is very, very delicate, very smooth. Okay, and you can see the thickness.
Yes. Yes.
It's very delicately crafted.
Yes. Yes.
So it should not overpower the beauty of the stone. So when we use the suiban, they are also of a particular color. They are usually of a
What is
natural
the
color, like
what is
brown,
the meaning
black, or
of what is the meaning of Suiban? Suiban is a Japanese
suibans are
word.
basic. Suibans are basically trace. Okay, and the stones are displayed along with sand, natural sand, different colors, sand, or in water also.
That's interesting. Any message you would like to give our viewers on how to collect, where to collect? Where can we go to collect stones in India?
Anywhere. I mean, if you ask me, India is the best place to collect Suiseki.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we have so much of nature around us. Like if you go to the Himalayas, I have several Himalayan stones also with me.
Uh-huh.
Okay, if you go to the Himalaya, you
Uh-huh.
will find stones like this.
Okay. It's quartz or
Yeah.
something?
Yes, yeah, but it's a very different kind of a stone. It's got a beautiful shape.
Hmm. Yes, yes.
So you can go to the Himalayas, you can go to the mountains, the entire Sahyadri range and the Vindhya range, or the Sahyadri range of mountains. You can find beautiful stones. Then there are so many rivers in our country, like the Ganges, the Yamuna, Godavari, Krishna.
Yes,
All the rivers, have beautiful stone. Narmada especially has beautiful stones on its back. So if you go there, you will find many, many stones. Uh, forest areas, they also have very old stones. You just have to, sometime you just might see a tip and you just have to dig them. Central India basically has very beautiful stones, sandstones and hard stones. Okay, we usually find a basalt, or we find granite, or we find sandstones in India. They come in very, very good shape. And again, if you go down south, there's so many, of course, the Sayadri range is there,
Yes.
and so many rivers. So you can collect stones from anywhere. Sometimes you find a very beautiful stone while you walk on the road. So you just have to pick it up.
Yes, I know my son, when he was young, we used to travel quite often to the mountains and to the rivers, and his friends wanted to join us. So he would always tell them, if you want to come with my mother, he says, be prepared to lug stones and climb trees to pluck all the seeds. So he would always warn them, beforehand, because I used to love collecting rocks. Any other message you want to give the young people, Sudhir?
Yes, it's a very satisfying art in today's time where we have so much of stress. You be a, business person, or you be a corporate person. There's so much of stress that we carry.
Yes.
And like, of course, we have so many, ways that we can release our stress, or, cope with the stressful environment that we are in. So this art form is very, very satisfying, very, very soothing, very, very easy to maintain the stones. Like if you are a plant lover, you have to at least water the plant once in a day. But this particular art form, if you find a stone, you bring it home, clean it, and you display it, it remains with you forever. You don't have to do anything. I mean, there is no maintenance. It's a zero maintenance kind of an art form, and doesn't need much space. You can carry it wherever you want to. You can send it to your friend. You can send it in for an exhibition. So I would, invite all the youngsters, or even like people at any age, to come forward and get into this art form, collect stones, and display it. I mean, you don't have to be, into a formal display, like, this is a Japanese art form. So you don't have to really, put it formally in your home. I mean, you can have a mountain in your living room or in your bedroom.
Wow.
You don't have to go out to see a mountain, So it can be just on your side table in your bedroom, and you can enjoy the nature in your house. And these are very small things, like very tiny stones, which you can keep anywhere. You can keep it in your office. You can keep it in your, I mean, the anybody for that matter who works in the kitchen. I wouldn't say only women, but anybody who works in the kitchen can keep it on the kitchen platform, just to, enjoy the beauty of the stones. And a lot of people do trekking nowadays. A lot of people go on solo trips, on trails. I would invite them to join this art form. And if they want to learn, I'm here. I can, teach them the formal art of collecting and appreciating and maintaining the art of Suiseki.
Thank you, Sudhir. It's really wonderful. I mean, you moved the mountain and brought it inside the house, like Moses. Fantastic. Incredible. We have learned something very new today. And Sudhir has taught us how to appreciate rocks in their natural beauty, without doing anything to them.